Wow, I must be really bored. So, Impact Wrestling thought of no monthly pay-per-views. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, I haven't did a full review of an Impact Wrestling show since Hard to Kill 2020. That was last January. It is now February 18th, 2021, and the last time I've actually covered any semblance of hype regarding Impact Wrestling, it was revolting around the massive release of superstars from the WWE and personnel from last year. So that's technically all I have for interest on Impact. It's not like I don't want them to succeed. It's like they're nearly on the realm of irrelevance, other than their past succession, when it's stuff that the hardcore fans hate, that was actually getting Impact recognition and actual notoriety outside of WWE fans and actually gaining popularity, where they were at least a semblance known. So, yeah, now we don't have that. We opened the show with some semblance of a recap on No Surrender, their Impact Plus special, even though I remember that as like being one of their big pay per views of the year. I mean, that used to be like one of their first two pay per views with Turning Point and No Surrender. And now it's regarded over as a special. They can't even sell that over as a pay per view because they lack over the buys to even consistently have at least 15,000 buys, and they're lucky enough to even have 300,000, like at least 200,000 people watching, or even less. We opened with former North Tag Team partner Josh Alexander against TJP for the X Division Championship. And no story overbuilt into this. Possibly Josh Alexander won in the contenders match. It said that Josh Alexander won in a triple threat revolver match. Like that's supposed to be special. So the match I saw a lot of breaks over a lot of technical spots, especially a good double hook, a little submission. I saw Alexander been targeting the leg for a majority of the match. A drop kick. TJP caught Alexander with his detention kick and finished off the match. Decent, average, but a bit less irrelevant. It was like an X Division match. You expect something a bit more fun. And it's sad too because the guys they have on commentary. It used to be Madison Rain and her husband Josh Matthews. Now I heard he got released, so it's now going to be Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown. That's a backstage guy on Impact, so now he's on the commentating position. Didn't hear him speak that much. Usually it's just Matt Striker because he's more of the vocal dude. D'Lo Brown like brings some detail into it, but he's just freaking boring. We also had, of course, a four-way match involving Trey Miguel, Suicide, Willie Mack, that I remember is with Rich Swann, and Davari, that is literally like the oldest, but somehow the best built. The match was good. I'll give it that. The match was fun. Couple of double drop kicks. We had some decent shoulder tackles. Hurricane Arana. It ended with a surprise Meteora over to Davari from. No, it was over to Suicide from Trey Miguel. Picked up the win. Also, he returned and attacked in I think a surprise 6-man tag. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, he dyed his hair. He looks a bit fitter. Doesn't have that much of a character. Like majority, like the last two matches, just been midgets with no character. And TJP, that literally his whole gimmick was, I am a high flyer from the Philippines that can dab. And now he's champion. I don't even know anymore. And it's like a semblance of, I guess, an X Division lack of identity. Because, like, now they are without Petey Williams, Sanjay Dutt. They have Ace Austin that looks like he probably smokes crack before every match. Willie Mack that looks pregnant, but he has a semblance of a talking ability. Davari, sad what they do with Davari, bro. They should drop the belt to him. Suicide that's just there that we obviously don't know who or care who's going to be in the match. And TJP is just boring. We had 4 decent matches, but just not interesting. We also had a backstage segment involving Matt Cardona, Hernandez with Kurt Hawkins or Miles. So he is Brian Myers that's ordering a hit on Matt Cardona, trying to take him out and beat him with the same thing as the last year. It's just with the ugly ass handlebar mustache. Hernandez is just back with the regular goatee, coming around, getting paid money to take out guys. Usually he's with a partner, like usually with Reno Scum or something. Now he's still doing the whole hit thing with the roll of money, and I thought this thing like was gonna die when they did the Fall Ball crap with Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, and now it's the same crap. They're just running off over the same joke. Like they couldn't just harass Homicide and just wait until his NWA contract probably is in buyout, so they can return LAX or something. Because I like LAX. At least they have a character. They're fun. They're relatable, and they can get heat over the racial victim mentality, Latino hood vibe crap. Like that's cool. I liked LAX. And now I've been hearing some health issues with Conan. See his podcast that he has with Disco Inferno. Really cool dudes. They always talk some good stuff about the business. Check them out. Keeping it 100. Don't know where they originally do their live broadcasts, but that's how I watch their clips. Really good videos. Watch them. Conan always talks some real stuff. But yeah, more on this match with Matt Cardona and Hernandez. Not much. I think they changed his finishing move from the shout out to the something of silence. Oh god, sometimes I'm just gonna keep calling it the shout out or his other move. Some drop kicks. Hernandez was coming over with some quick clotheslines. There was a cool pounce off Hernandez. And it came off the radio silence. That was how it was called. Myers just had a face. Then it ended with a Gail Miller, the random chick interviewer that sometimes doesn't have anything interesting to say. I just always wish whenever there's like a disinteresting talker like Charlie Caruso, we could just have Tony Giovanni just shit talk these women into submission, so he could just give a professional interview. It ends with Brian Myers trying to talk down and trying to say, I came to Impact first. I'm like, Brian Myers is already like the most boring wrestler. He already made himself that. He calls himself the most professional wrestler. If that isn't Smarky in a Teague, that he's the most professional wrestler. It's as boring as calling yourself the show stealer or I steal the show, yet nobody remembers the Dolph Ziggler match. So he gets assaulted off Hernandez. That's about it. I'm joking. Eddie Edwards came and helped him out, getting Hernandez closed behind at the ring. So it looks like we're probably gonna get a tag team match next week. We also had addresses over the X Division, involving our Ultimate X Cup winner. I forgot, or Super X Cup winner or something. It was a tournament that they had. I think it's No Surrender, where they had the finals, and Ace Austin returned and won it. And they had a backstage segment later in the show over if he's going to get a shot for the X Division title after earning it. But then he said, the authority figure, I forgot his name, said he looks pregnant. Dude looks pregnant. Just looks like he's possibly going to give you a job in a Starbucks. Wearing the headset. He tried to pull off this Paul Heyman look with the headset, like he's always busy juggling around his neck, screaming his ass off in an indoor place. Issuing that, okay, if you win a 6-man tag, That six-man tag wins the match, gets a triple threat match, and whoever wins it's jumping over more hoops, even though he won a match that technically would not give him an automatic shot for the X Division title. I get because they're the heels and most of the heels have been harassing him the entire night. I get it, but it's just so dumb. Like, if he can, why doesn't he just get the scheduled match on the next special or something? Just dumb. So I'm trying to actually understand this whole partnership, like, Fatal 5-Way thing. And I'm supposed to care. Like, I don't care. It's like it's like the Teen Titans versus the Super Friends. Like, we sort of know who the Teen Titans are for, like, back then when they were actually watchable. And right now, it's like if we put the Teen Titans Go roster against, like, Justice League from the 2000s. Jesus, no. Juice Robinson and David Finlay of whatever crappy tag team name they're given debuted on Impact. So they called the Impact Zone, yet their original name is called Impact. It's like calling your show the Raw Zone, and yet your name... Okay. So they had a debut match against Reno Scum. The match was okay. Decent clotheslines. Juice Robinson looking like he failed as a gay bouncer. David Finlay has some kind of beer belly. Reno Scum still looks like they smoke crack. There was cool spinebuster. Luster just looked a bit pulsated in some of the matches. There was a superplex for the finish, plus a frog splash for the victory. Then there was a talk with Anderson and Gallows that were coming around. Like, let's get some beards for the young boys. For my young boys. Oh, God. That's how weird Carl Anderson is and sexually frustrated Luke Gallows is. And they were and it was like, we're not the young boys anymore, guys. We did work great in Japan, just like you guys, so we deserve enough respect. Like, I'm just trying to compel myself that you guys need, like, stuff from a different fed to actually give you coherency to actually feud. Other than, we're the top dogs here. We don't care where you come from. You guys are not in our level. Like, that could have been the most basic thing you could have said. Did in your own way instead of being, like, awkward, sexually frustrated weeaboos pretending like Japan actually does something for you. Like, Vader, like, people can say about, oh, Vader, he was amazing in Japan. Nobody, it's just people are going to say, oh, Vader was this monster heel that beating the crap out of, like, people like Ric Flair for the WCW title back in WCW. That's what people are going to say. If he came to WWE, and he did. Sorry, bro. It just came with a bit of instigation, like, you're gonna piss your pants when you're drunk. And it's like, oh, God. You guys could have just took a personal shot and talked about his wife, but, you know, we're all about the work rate in here. Like, we're all about, I don't really care. So we also had Tenille Dashwood, or Emma from, if you guys watch WWE, from, like, she used to be there until the Emelina thing did not go well. And she's facing off against one half of Havoc. Jessica Havoc's partner is Navia. And it's like, okay, they're two big white women. Oh, God, why did I say that? Okay, so they're just generic two big white women. I thought they had, like, some darkish gimmick. I knew Havoc had one. I don't know what Navia has. And the reason was the distrust of their tag team. All I know is I think this is technically related to the Knockouts women's tag team the Knockout tag team belts. That I think they lost the match against Tasha Steelz and Kira Hogan. Why isn't Kira Hogan goddamn straight? I hate this world. And sadly, Tasha Steelz and Kira Hogan were not here that night. So it was just Tenille Dashwood trying to prove herself to Jessica Havoc, and Navia trying to see if she can do this by herself. With Caleb with a K in her corner. Bro. So it was some corner spots over from Dashwood. with some grabs over in the hair, some stomps in a some corner stomps from Nivea. There was a close face breaker for a near fall. I think it ended off a running knee strike. I don't know what to call that. It's called the onslaught for the victory. Dashwood won. Boring match. Average. I don't know what the story's based on. There's not that much over as a focus. There was also like a segment involving James Storm, one half of Motor City Machine Gun. Oh, Chris Sabin, Falaba, Alicia Edwards, and Johnny Swinger, and Rahib with Shira. This was all in just one segment, and I'm just trying to understand. Like, I thought they were done with this whole Wrestle House crap. I don't mind the cinematography on trying to do something. It's possibly going to go in some crap 6-man tag in the future. This is possibly my only review to Impact for a while. But I'm supposed to be interested in James Storm just wasting himself with Chris Sabin for some apparent reason. Because they drink alcohol. They were in this one bar, nearly getting a fight with Rohit after blaming his loss for the X Division title to Shira. Nearly ended in a bar fight, just hit Rohit with a beer bottle. Then they just go over to the Swinger Palace, Daddy. It was just a work. It was just a work for my boys. You guys don't know how to do a work with a shoot like a work, Daddy. I worked with Hulk Hogan, Jack. Kill me. Just bad. It ends, I guess, with a reference that Swinger got crabs by somebody. Falaba getting cut off and then taken out to Swinger Palace. I thought it would be a lot more funny and more jokes would be involved. Just James Storm is just there because it's like a bad relationship that James Storm just getting himself into, even though we know he deserves better. And it's sad too because like the only guys that look like stars in this show is technically Moose and James Storm. It's sad. Because, like, I saw Moose before. It's like, okay, he looked like a heavyweight. The guy looks shredded. The guy looks freaking shredded. Just watch until, just like what happened to Morrison's wife, look at what's going to happen. When you look like a star, you're going somewhere else. And we know damn well Impact is just dying as just a big budget indie fed. And when they know, like, probably Sami Callihan and Rich Swann holding the world title for what? Like, for a few months now since Bound for Glory? Oh, God. It's not going to end well. So, we have an old school hardcore match, and this had a semblance after Dreamer got jumped after their world title match at No Surrender, involving a leg injury off Rich Swann. That I remember that was a bit relevant into his recovery. And still Moose is holding on to the TNA World title. But I still don't know why. I heard he got a title shot in Hard to Kill. No, it was a 6-man tag, I remember, with Rich Swann involved, so he didn't get a title shot. So possibly that they're going to do a title match in the future come Rebellion. Yeah, so it was a hardcore, old school rules hardcore match involving Tommy Dreamer's pregnant ponytail ass with a bandana on. Looked awful against Moose. And I gotta say that the match was okay. A bit slow, methodic. Didn't get much over all of this. Moose looked like $1 million. Power slamming. There was like 2 Uranagis. A rough clothesline. After a toss over from a table, Moose countered, hit another Uranagi, and then hit him with a spear. Match ended with Moose looking good. Still getting over the heat after Tommy Dreamer lost against Rich Swann for the world title. So Dreamer still in his 50s, still jobbing out. Even though Moose already beat him on pay-per-view before. So there's like no point in this right there. And it's not even a comeback over Tommy Dreamer. I understand Tommy Dreamer's trying to do his best to try to get these guys over. But like Moose could have gotten this anywhere else. There was also Sami Callihan talking shit over to Trey Miguel after literally winning a 4-way match, and it's like, you lack passion, you lack the drive. And it's like, I'm not saying Sami Callihan isn't the potential to actually do some cool storylines or where he can't be that cool. The guy's just a fat, wet-haired weirdo. And I'm shocked over a majority of what I saw before earlier in the half. Like in the earlier half of the 2020, he was feuding with Brian Cage, looking like a huge douchebag, ruining a wedding, pile driving his own wife, and he won the world title after Bound for Glory. Now he just got rendered over a mid-card, lost his over faction like OVE because of the speaking out movement and other stuff. And now he's just overly just a fat weirdo mid-card. He couldn't even keep Sawyer Fulton. So now he's just a random mid-carder now. He got devalued so badly. And it's sad too. I don't even like Sami Callihan, but at least be consistent about your main event scene. It just feels like anybody can just get a shot for the Impact World title, and I don't feel like that should be a good idea. Like, Tommy Dreamer, Willie Mack, Trey Miguel, they're probably going to push them over. Eddie Edwards possibly again after his, possibly, I think, a month reign with the world title before they gave it over back to Eric Young. They also did something with Diener, Cody Diener, now cousin Jake is now called back to Jake something that people like for some apparent reason, or I think the grand majority, because who wants to be called Jake something? That now they're having this ongoing feud called with a new faction involving Eric Young, Diener, they shortened it to Diener now, and Joe Doring, and I forgot what the faction is called. Just looks like a jobber faction with guys that obviously hate their lives, and they need to appoint it not to a main eventer or an authority figure, but to a lower carder, where Ken Shamrock possibly wants to kill himself because he's spending the twilight of his career and the rest of his good shape not on live television, where possibly Attitude Era fans or could be excited to see, oh my god, look at Ken Shamrock. I remember him in the Attitude Era. He still looks great for his age, and he should be trying to get in fights with Roman Reigns. He shouldn't be getting fights with lower carders like Eddie Edwards or Sami Callihan or stuff like this. Like, I'm sick and tired of Impact wasting their potential. Like, if you can, at least push Ken Shamrock for a world title reign or something. I don't give a crap about Juice Robinson and David Finlay. The main event was subpar, but Moose only looked like a star. And the rest was just segment over segment over segment. Like, I don't really care that Susie... Like, how many gimmicks are you going to give Su Yung? What's wrong with, like, the weirdo undead bride gimmick thing? It seems like a lot of people like that. Where's Rosemary? Where's the rest of the women's division? The rest is just... We're going to have a tag team match for a tag team match just to get a shot for the tag team titles involving, I forgot what her name is. They named Su Yung Susan now with some blonde duck face looking chick just to get a shot for the women's tag belts. And there was not that much into the rest of the card. This guy doesn't even issue what's going to happen for the world title. There was also this thing with, of course, with Tony Khan doing his paid ad for AEW that always comes out the next night. And obviously, it's just stealing your fans away. What kind of business strategy is that? It's like, imagine like how much salt to the wound it is. Like Vince McMahon literally doing paid ads in the 2000s. Like when you're trying to see Jeff Jarrett, like Booker T versus Scott Steiner. Like Vince McMahon doing a disrespectful paid ad. Like, what are you guys doing? Steve Austin is facing Triple H on Raw right now. Wait, what? And that's what... Like, you're gonna miss... They're gonna give you like the full rundown of the main event or a segment, and you're gonna switch the channel and already like drop views like later in the show. Like that's not gonna be good business strategy. Just garbage way to build over your product. And you don't do a paid ad for another wrestling company, you idiots. That's some indie market shit. You don't do that crap. You're Impact Wrestling. You used to at least somewhat compete with Raw. Like Impact should have way more integrity. They need another authority figure, like like somebody else buying out over the company. And you guys had that chance with Billy Corgan, and Dixie Carter's a retarded bitch, and somehow you guys couldn't hook it up. Impact was forgettable. I gotta give it at least 4 out of 5, or 4 out of 10, or 5 out of 10. I'm not saying that the matches weren't that good. I mean, the two first matches were alright because they're just X Division. Moose looked alright, but Tommy Dreamer just made it subpar, slow, and they just had to make it a hardcore match because the only way you can realistically do moves over Moose. And the women's match with Nivea and Tenelle Dashwood was crap. Don't even know why Matt Cardona is on Impact now, even though he's an AEW star, other than the crappy crossover. So that's technically it. So that shows that AEW doesn't even have a reliance on Cardona. So that's technically all I got from most of this. If you guys like this review, comment down in the comment section below to see if I will never do this stuff again. Other than that, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. F you. Bye.